Hello students, welcome back. Let us start with another chapter number 16, Environmental Issues, class 12, Biology. Now this chapter is very interesting. Most of the topics you will be listening that you have already studied in class 8th and 9th and even 10th also. So a chapter is very easy. Most of the definition, few short notes, definitely very important short notes are there in this chapter. We'll see one by one. And some interesting case studies are also there. So let us start with a very good chapter, environmental issues. Now when we say environmental issues, the first thing which comes in our mind is pollution. And if you see pollution, there are different kinds of pollutions. So we'll categorize different pollutions differently along with their agents. But what is pollution? If somebody asks you for a definition, then what will you say? So pollution is defined as an undesirable change in physical, chemical, biological characteristics of air, water, soil or land. So if you find any kind of change in either of this thing, either physically, chemically or biologically, in air, water and soil, then you can say there is a pollution. That is undesirable change. Now what are the agents which cause this pollution? They are called pollutants. So they are the agent which bring about that undesirable change in the properties of air, water and soil. Our government has passed the law, the Environment Protection Act 1986, to protect and improve the quality of environment, especially air, water and soil. So 1986 there was an act, Environment Protection Act. Let us see air pollution. Now air pollution can be asked for a short note. Few short topics are included in this topic, so that can be also asked for 2 or 3 marks. We'll see everything one by one. So again the definition will be the same, that any undesirable change in the physical, chemical and the biological characteristics of air, because we are talking of air pollution, that exert adverse effect on living organism is defined as air pollution. Again I am repeating, any undesirable change in the physical, chemical and biological characteristics of air that exert adverse effect on the living organism, that is called air pollution. Now common questions are, what is the causative or what are the causes of this air pollution? First of all, if we see air pollution, the first thing which comes in our mind is smoke. It can be from forest fire, it can be from volcano eruptions which we call. Second, the decomposition of the garbage which release the unwanted gases in the atmosphere. Third, burning of fossil fuel, which is the major issue nowadays. Industry releasing particulate and air pollutants. Use of lead, petrol. Gaseous waste or particulate matter. We'll see what is particulate. Particulate matter as byproduct in some of the industries. Smokestacks of thermal power plants. Smelters are there, and other industrial releases which are there along with the harmful gases, it comes out. So some of the causes, common causes, this is nothing to be remembered actually. It is common thing that smoke from the industries, volcanic eruptions, forest fire, then gaseous waste and then garbage waste, undesirable gas. Air pollutant. We can classify the agents of air pollution, that is air pollutant, into two things. Either the air pollutant can be particulate matter or it can be a gaseous form. So what is particulate pollutant? If there is any metallic particles or metals, small, very small, dust, soot, aerosols, and smoke, they are all particulate pollutants. But what about gaseous pollutants? All the gases: carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, sulfur dioxide, these are all harmful gases. Again I am repeating: carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, nitrogen dioxide, then hydrogen sulfide, and sulfur dioxide. What are the harmful effects of this? It depends on the concentration of that pollutant. It also depends on the duration of the exposure, how much the organism is being exposed. Now if you see carbon monoxide, this carbon monoxide gas, it causes giddiness, headache, decreased vision, cardiovascular malfunctioning. These are all common things which occurs with carbon monoxide. Hydrogen sulfide, very common gas, H2S, it causes nausea, eye and throat infection. So these are common things which we have experienced. Sulfur dioxide, respiratory disease, mostly asthma, bronchitis, cancer, emphysema, etc. So in plants, air pollution reduces growth and yield. It also leads to premature death. Then fine particles, very small particles, they cause breathing problems, respiratory issues, irritation, inflammations, and it also causes damage to the lungs. So when you say what are the different aspects of this pollutant, so they have different effect on our body, even plants. What are the controlling methods of this air pollutions? So number of methods are there in our course curriculum, but we will see the 3 of them, and then we will see one of the case study which was there in New Delhi, and which was very good, effective. So let us start with the first method: electrostatic precipitator, ESP. Electrostatic precipitator. Now what is that? It is an electrical device used to remove particulate matter present in an exhaust of thermal power plants. Now remember this, it is an electrical device which is used to remove particulate matter, not the gaseous matter, it is only the particles in the exhaust of thermal power plants. So 99 or even more than 99% particulate matters can be removed by this method. So very good method for removal of particulate matter. Then there will be a question, sir, if there is a gaseous pollutant, then how it will be removed? We have second method, I am coming to that, but remember this ESP method is only for the particulate matter. So 99% and even more. Then ESP, how does it work? So ESP has electrode wires and the stages of collecting plates. You can see in the diagram that this precipitator has plates and some wires. These electrode wires are provided with electric current of several thousand volts, which produce corona and that release the electron. And this electron attached to the dust particles give them the negative charge within a very small fraction of second, and collecting plates are there They are earthen so that they attract the charged dust particles. So this collected plate are grounded, and these dust particles which have negative charge because of the high voltage of the electric current, and thus these particles settle down on that plate. So the velocity of the air passing through this plate is slow, and it allows enough time for the particles to settle down on that plates. You can see in a diagram that on one side the polluted air is inserted, the particles and the gaseous both form might be there. The particles, because of the electric current provided to the electrodes, the particles get negative charge, and as the air moves further on the other side, the particles get collected to the plates which is grounded there, and clean air from the other side is being obtained. So very good method. But is there any limitation of this method? Yes, very small particles are, or maybe not removed by this, very small particles. There are some chances of this, so that can be excluded. So one important good method is ESP. You can see in a diagram. Then second is scrubber. Now we know scrubber, we have heard this word scrubber. It is used to remove gaseous or gaseous pollutant like sulfur dioxide, especially sulfur dioxide, from industrial exhaust. So the exhaust is passed through a spray of water or lime, and the water dissolves the gas, and lime react with sulfur dioxide to form a precipitate of calcium sulfate and sulfide. You can see in a diagram that from one side the pollutant air is being inserted. There is a tray where it has a water line spray, and from there this air, as soon as it passes, the water react with this gaseous sulfur dioxide, and it gets converted to calcium sulfate and sulfide, and we get pure air or clean air, we can say. So this is the second method, scrubber, used for the gaseous form. The first one was for the particulate form. Then we have catalytic converter. This is very common nowadays. You might have seen in our cars. See, cars before 1990s, you might have heard, or even before 2000, that they, as soon as they get old, a lot of smoke comes out from the exhaust, even trucks. But nowadays these catalytic converters are inserted. There's very small piece of instrument which are inserted, and thus whenever you use a car, you don't find any smoke coming out. When you start the car or any vehicle, you don't see the smoke coming out from the exhaust. So catalytic converter, very important. So you can see that they are fitted into automobiles for reducing the emission of the poisonous gases like NO2 and carbon monoxide. They are expensive metals because they are made up of platinum, palladium and rhodium, which are very expensive, and because they act as a good catalyst, so these are used. So as the exhaust emission passes through this catalytic converter, nitric acid splits into nitrogen and oxygen. Carbon monoxide is again oxidized to carbon dioxide, and unburnt hydrocarbon gets burnt completely into CO2 and H2O. So you see the remainings are not poisonous, CO2 and H2O. Okay, then even nitrogen and oxygen, nitric acid is converted. So nothing is poisonous which we are getting as an exhaust. So motor vehicle fit with catalytic converter should use unleaded petrol, as lead in petrol inactivates the catalyst. That is very important. So you should always use unleaded petrol, especially when you are having a car or any vehicle with a catalytic converter. So these are the three methods: ESP, electrostatic precipitator, scrubber, and the third is the catalytic converter. Now I was talking of the case study, control of pollution, air pollution in Delhi. So in 1990s, the Delhi was one of the top rank, almost 4 rank in the most out of 41 the most polluted cities in the world. And there was someone who has just given a PIL in the Supreme Court, public interested litigation. That is something complaint in the Supreme Court about this. So then all the buses were converted to CNG. You know the full form of CNG, you should know it. And by the end of the 2002, you will find that not only the buses but even the autos and auto rickshaws were also being used with CNGs. What are the advantages of the CNGs? See, CNG burns most efficiently without leaving any unburnt remains behind. You don't have anything left out when you use CNG. It is very cheaper than petrol and diesel. Okay. It cannot be siphoned. Yeah, siphon means you cannot mix like some people use petrol and diesel, they use kerosene or some other things to mix, but here you can't do any alteration, nothing can be done, it's very pure. So that is there. What are some other methods they have used to reduce the vehicle pollution? Especially they said that phasing out of old vehicles. So they have started in Delhi first that old vehicles should be removed. Unleaded petrol should be used, use of low sulfur petrol and diesel, then use of catalytic converter, which is compulsory now and it is coming in our vehicles, applying very strict pollutant or pollution laws, especially norms of the vehicle, then opting for carpooling, which was there, we have seen in few years back, wherever possible. Carpooling means if 4 people are working in one office, they can join in one car and then they used to, instead of taking 4 different vehicles, you can use the public transport. Government of India has obviously made that facility. So these are some other methods we can use or reduce the vehicle pollution. But other than that, auto fuel policies were also introduced. Euro 2 norms were stipulated to control the sulfur content at 350 ppm in diesel and 150 ppm in petrol. That was also used. And aromatic hydrocarbon should not, or they are to be at least 42% only. Then goal being to reduce sulfur to 50 ppm in petrol and diesel, which has brought down to 35%. That was also one of them. So according to automobiles law, they should meet Euro 3 norms. Emission specific norms were there, which was applied in the 11 cities in the India on April 1st, 2005. It was the date given. By this time it should be at least in 11 cities of the India, that is Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, Pune, Surat and Kanpur, Agra. So these were the cities where this was applied. These 11 cities were have to maintain not only Euro 3 but Euro 4 norms also by April 1st, 2010. And the rest of the country were having Euro 3 norms till 2010. I said in 1987, Air Prevention and Control Pollution Act came into the force in India. Even it was included noise as an air pollutant in that time. So noise and air pollution was after there was an amendment brought in the law for this thing. So these are the things which we should take care about the air pollution. Very short note on some of the topics like ESP scrubber or catalytic converter, or even case study they can ask. Next time we will see about the noise pollution and how it has different effect on human body or living organism. Then we will see water pollution. Then we have some interesting topics like eutrophication, solid waste management, BOD, which is a new term for you people. Then global warming, a very common. Then radioactive pollutions we have to see. and ozone and the effects in stratosphere. So we'll see all these topics in the next lecture. I hope you have understood what we have discussed today. If you have any query, kindly do ask, and you can comment on my inbox. You can always have your query solved. Thank you.